Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
I order you not to go. I order you not to go.
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
Two machines, two unforgettable goodbyes. One reclaimed his name, the other gave up his life. But both made us feel something real. This is RoboCop versus Terminator, and why their endings still break our hearts. Alright, starting off with RoboCop. RoboCop is not just a cyborg, and the story of him is not just about him, it's about his identity. During his course, Alex Murphy was killed and stripped of his humanity. He was gunned down in a gory way, just very gory. How he was gunned down and his life was taken from him, and how he was used as what we have now as RoboCop, the ultimate machine that could patrol the streets of Detroit, take on the crimes, and never had to sleep or rest, and was able to do that day in and day out. Well, through the course of it, RoboCop starts trying to understand and finds out who he is through moments, flashbacks, and he starts getting his memories back. And what makes the scene at the very end, whenever he finishes off and finalizes of killing the main person who has started all of the problems, what makes it really deep and special and somewhat satisfying and sad is that he's told, "Nice shot, son. What is your name?" And in regards to being asked that, he claims himself as Murphy. He doesn't say RoboCop, he says Murphy, which in turn, with the music playing in the background, it is that satisfying part that he has claimed his identity as being the man behind the machine of Alex Murphy. Alright, now let's talk about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Terminator 2 starts off with the T-800 coming into place to protect John Connor from the Metal T that is after John Connor to end his life and completely stop the whole story of John Connor. Throughout the whole course, John Connor has never had a father figure. His dad passed away, spoilers, in the first one. So John, with his mom being in the psych ward, he was always on his own, going through foster to foster, never had any type of father figure, nothing. And during the course of this movie, John and the T-800 start building a bond in relationship. Towards the end of the movie, that makes this scene very, very ultra sad, is that the fact that the T-800 has to look at John Connor as he's begging him to not do what he's about to do and sacrifice himself. And to the terms that the T-800 looks at him and says, I know now why you cry, but it's something I cannot do. And with that, the T-800 lowers himself into the lava pit and melts himself away to sacrifice himself. And what makes it more emotional is when the music is playing in the background, simplifying that he's losing his life to save another, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. There's no way to stop himself. There's loss, there's silence. It's just an emotional breakdown of him going into the molten lava and John just sitting there having to see and witness the only father figure of his life with the music in the background playing out. Alright, so let's talk about it from side to side comparison. Now, from side to side comparison, yes, they are both machines that cannot feel. But as the stories progress for each one of them, you start seeing that they are not just machines, but they are men, part of a machine. As RoboCop starts seeing more of his past coming to him, he starts feeling the emotions, the heart the heart inside of him, the hurt, the pain of when he lost his life. And not only losing his life, he lost his family, his wife and his son too, and his identity. He was no longer known as Alex Murphy, but he was known as RoboCop. And with the T-800, all he was designed for was just to protect John Connor. He had no emotions, no feelings, no remorse, no nothing. It was protect John Connor with your life. That is your prime directive. There's nothing else for you to do. But during the movie, as you see John and him bonding, they become more than that. It's a father and son type feel. And at the moment that he has to say goodbye, you can see the emotions there. Now, with that being said, I would say that they both have their differences and a very different way of their endings. On one hand, RoboCop's part is sad, but it's a triumph that he was able to reclaim his identity, and the theme playing for it fits perfectly on the fact that he was able to reclaim the identity of Murphy. Now, with the T-800 and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, that scene I feel like is very heartbreaking. For the fact that John Connor had to literally sit there and was begging him to not go and ordered him to not go. And the fact that the T-800 said, I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do. It just delivers with the theme playing in the background that heartfelt sorrow for John, knowing that he cannot stop him and he knows what must be done, and knowing that he's about to lose the only father figure. It's just very, very heartbreaking. It really, truly is. So in my opinion, I feel like Terminator 2's ending is a little bit more sad than the first one of RoboCop. But in the end, this is the way I see it. One ends up in triumph, the other one ends in tragedy. And their music says the words that we cannot hear. It lets us know that even machines can make us cry. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Which scene hits you the hardest? Which scene makes you cry? Which one do you think has the most impact? Which one do you believe is actually better, not as good? Let me know in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed these little retro stories that I'm starting, let me know in the comments. And as always, remember I love y'all. And if you liked it, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.